Donald Trump is unleashing economic Armageddon on the globalist machine, and they're terrified. Standing outside the White House, he declared, "I am the chosen one." Not ego, but prophecy. In just 81 days, he's systematically dismantling the corrupt international order that's been bleeding America dry for decades. And the evidence is undeniable. Inflation is nosediving, gas prices are plummeting, and China is on the ropes. Even Geraldo Rivera had to admit it. That Trump's ambush of Beijing was pure strategic genius. While Biden fumbled, Trump freed a Russian-held ballerina. While Democrats fearmongered, he greenlit pipelines and revived nuclear energy. The markets aren't just responding, they're exploding with confidence. Now, as we step into 2025, one thing is clear. De-dollarization's not stopping. It's accelerating. China and other BRICS nations are scared of President Trump, and it's making them more determined to reduce their dependence on the U.S. dollar. What is their secret weapon? It's gold. In fact, China resumed buying gold, and they underreport their buys. They recognize its global value and ability to withstand economic shocks. Gold is tangible, it's reliable, and it's immune to economic manipulation. China and other BRICS countries, they want to be prepared, they just don't want it known. But this isn't just about nations, it's about you. Noble Gold Investments can help you secure your financial future with gold. So visit nextnewsgold.com. It's linked down below to learn more and receive 10 1-ounce silver American Eagle coins with a qualified account. That number on the screen, too, it'll be there. Write it down. 877-646-5347. Give him a call after the show. All right, the Trump effect is in full swing. The White House just put out this image on their X account. Never bet against Donald Trump. The Trump effect is here, baby. Look at these headlines. Promises made, promises kept. Consumer prices fell in March, defying predictions of tarifflation. Inflation rate eases 2.4% in March, lower than expected. Another one, AP, inflation fell last month. Financial Times, U.S. inflation falls more than expected to 2.4% in March. And we're just getting started. You see, they lied, folks. They lied. He fought, and now the war is here. While the media slept, Trump dismantled the deep state's grip on America, trade, energy, inflation, health, espionage, betrayal. This thread I'm about to break down exposes how Trump is restoring the republic and what they don't want you to see. Let's jump right into it. Standing, this is where he said it, outside the White House, he said, "I am the chosen one."
So somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it. So I'm taking on China. I'm taking on China on trade. And you know what? We're winning because we're the piggy bank. We're the one that all these countries, including the European Union, wants to rob and takes advantage of. European Union, $200 billion. China, more than $500 billion. Sorry. I was put here by people. I was put here by people to do a great job. And that's what I'm doing.
And that's exactly what he's doing. Even Geraldo Rivera couldn't deny it. Trump's ambush of China was genius. No backroom deals, no polished elite nonsense. He suckered Beijing while the media mocked him. That's why they fear him, and that's why they tried to stop him. But it's too late. Here's Geraldo.
With him, I believe that he ambushed China. I believe that he suckered the whole world into believing that he was going to go down in this, this Harry Carey, this suicide mission.
So you think this is
against the world?
The plan all along?
I think with him, it's so much spontaneous. But I believe it evolved. I mean, Monday, so many people were feeling terrible pain.
Yeah.
The markets were tanking. There was no, end in sight. People were watching their 401ks, their IRAs disappear. The whole nation was, I think, trembling over the uncertainty of where we were going with this. He was picking a fight with the entire world. So I said Monday, well, isn't the problem China? Why are we getting everybody, UK, European Union, Japan, etc. China's the problem. I couldn't understand it. But then this morning, I tell a New York story quickly.
Yep.
I'm at the Regency Hotel with a dear old friend of mine, David Sherrill, who does the stocks. Erica and I, my wife and I are together.
You're a broker?
In New York. You're with my broker.
Of course.
And we're talking about, oh my God, this is awful, but we're doing the right thing. You have to have courage. You have to stick it out. I went to my Twitter followers. I said, please don't sell. This is on Sunday and Monday. Please don't sell unless you absolutely have to. And then, look what he does. Oh, surprise. This is why Trump is triumphant. This is why you can't beat this.
Great breakfast, by the way, at the Regency.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about it? The president, you talk about going to your Twitter followers. He went to his, I don't think it was Twitter, it's probably his own platform, Truth Social, right after the market opened today. And he said, great time to buy.
What a tease. But then, when he said that, everything was gloom and doom.
Right, but he knew he was going to make this announcement, apparently. He said he
knew, of course he knew. Well, and then he says, oh, by the way, I have this ace of spades. There it is, and now Is
that a little shady to you, though, that kind of thing? Or?
I think when you're dealing with, these giant forces, China's been... they've been cleaning our clock for a long time, making a lot of money on the U.S. trade in a lot of different ways, dumping product, not taking ours at all. How many Chevys and Fords and Buicks are riding around in Beijing? I wonder. Not very many.
They used to like Buicks, but go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I think that what he did was brilliant, and a lot of people are heaving a huge sigh of relief. Yeah. People were staring at the abyss. No one knew how far this was going to go, whether we really were off the cliff forever. And, I just feel sorry for all the people who chickened out and sold out and took major losses, because that's the thing about the market. When somebody wins, somebody else has lost.
What do you think his goal is here in all of this? Or maybe it's both, but I'm having a hard time seeing how you could do both. In other words, does he want to bring back all these manufacturing jobs? That's what he talks about all the time. If so, you'd want to keep the tariffs on, theoretically, even if, that's what, and then force people to move their businesses here. Or is he just trying to cut he's cutting better deals?
I don't know, Connell, because that's way above my pay grade. But what I do know is that the United States now provides services to the world. We do what we do best. Yeah. There are countries that manufacture stuff and they do it as well as we do for a lot less money. You can't have barriers. The United States exists, and I hate to sound like a globalist, but it is an international reality. And
I hate to sound like a globalist. Way to go, Geraldo.
I think he wants the best possible deal he can get for the United States of America. God bless him for that. That's why people really dig the guy. That's why he's hard to beat. That charisma is unbelievable. I could sing his praises forever. And I wonder if I was sitting here and the market was down 2,000 instead of being up, all these thousands, I would be singing the same tune. I hope so. It just seems to me that this is Trump writ large. This is the guy, the way he does business. He suckered China in, trying to put their neck way out there. We're going to fight you to the end, says President Xi. And guess what? The United States pulls a fast one. Well, I believe that he...
Geraldo Rivera singing Trump's praises. Hell must have frozen over, or he wants another shot on some reality show. Let's see. Big, beautiful bill is back. Trump's Truth Social post says it all. He's rallying Republicans, slashing taxes, steamrolling opposition. This is what he posted. The big, beautiful bill is coming along really well. Republicans are working together nicely. Biggest tax cuts in U.S. history. Getting close. DJT. And, of course, while Biden fumbled and blinked, Trump freed a ballerina from a Russian gulag. Did you hear about this? Katerina Karolina is home because Trump doesn't bow to Moscow. He negotiates.
This morning, writing on... We are back with a Fox News alert. Secretary of State Marco Rubio confirms that Moscow has freed a wrongfully detained Russian-American ballerina. Alex Hogan joins us from our London bureau with all the details. Hey, Alex.
Good morning, Ainsley. So American-Russian dual citizen Ksenia Karolina, who had been detained by Russia, is now free. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio confirmed the news this morning, writing on X, quote, saying American Ksenia Karolina is on a plane back home to the United States. She was wrongfully detained by Russia for over a year, and President Trump secured her release. POTUS will continue to work for the release of all Americans. Karolina was arrested in January of 2024 in Yekaterinburg during a visit to see her family. She was jailed for donating about $50 to a charity supporting Ukraine on the first day of Russia's invasion. The court found her guilty of high treason, sentencing her to imprisonment in a penal colony. The amateur ballerina and Los Angeles resident became a U.S. citizen in 2021. Her family and her loved ones have been vocal in their efforts demanding her release.
On the Russian side, they make it very difficult because they don't recognize Ksenia as American, which is absurd for me. But the U.S. State Department said we're trying relentlessly. Every single day we are trying to get close to Ksenia.
She was freed in exchange for a German-Russian dual national. Now, this prisoner swap took place early this morning in the UAE. This is also the second U.S.-Russian prisoner swap to take place in less than 2 months.
President Trump freeing ballerinas. Lee Zeldin confirming that Trump is obliterating Biden's eco-tyranny. The war on coal is over. EPA rollback, pipeline green lights, nuclear resurgence, all coordinated inside the Oval Office. America is powering up, and the globalists are trembling.
President Trump.
I know you said that the EPA is already reinvigorating America's clean coal industry, right?
Yes, this is from President Trump's mandate earned by the American public's vote November 5th to unleash energy dominance. President Trump created a National Energy Dominance Council with multiple agencies working closely together, has declared an energy emergency, and has been in the weeds on individual projects. He cares about getting pipelines, keeping coal plants open, nuclear, AI, and the list goes on. And meeting after meeting inside of the Oval Office to advance this agenda to unleash energy dominance. At EPA, just over 4 weeks ago, we announced what amounted to the largest deregulatory action in the history of the country. Just one agency was able to do that. Why? Because at the end of the Biden administration in 2023 and 2024, there were all sorts of regulations coming out. And as it related to the coal industry, the Biden EPA was trying to strangulate the coal industry out of existence. What we are announcing is that we are reconsidering all of these different rules that were put in by the Biden administration, and we want a smart policy that both protects the environment and grows the economy.
I know you said that the EPA is already...
Eco-terrorism is gone. And then we have this. The inflation drop caught Wall Street off guard. Rick Santelli couldn't believe the numbers. We're at levels not seen since COVID. How? It's simple. Trump's energy policies are already squeezing the pressure out of the systems, and the market is reacting.
The equal coming in under minus 1/10 on headline, minus 1/10. We're expecting the exact opposite. We were expecting up 1/10, minus 1/10. Well, we equal where we were in May of 2020 to find a lower number. Here all the way to April of 2020, the heavy COVID-affected months of the calendar. If we take food and energy out, still coming in on the under, up 1/10. We're expecting triple that number, up 1/10. Well, that would equal where we were in June of last year. To find a lower number would be 0 in January of 21. These are definitely low numbers.
Low numbers. Inflation is on the retreat. And CNN didn't want to admit it, but inflation is crashing. They credited gas prices. We'll give you the truth. Trump's energy dominance is flooding the system with cheap fuel, and the Fed is cornered. Price stability is the Trump effect in action. Check this out from CNN.
Consumer prices month over month. So this was actually a drop of 0.1%, negative 0.1%. That's the first time we've seen that since COVID. Year over year, the annual inflation rate was at 2.4%. This was also better than expected, and a 6-month low, moving in the right direction. As far as why this happened, there's a few drivers. One thing that really played a role here, as you can see the trend here, the inflation rate dipping a little bit. One of the drivers was energy. The fact that gasoline prices did not move up like they usually do in the month of March, that really helped the inflation. Consumer prices.
Gas prices coming back. Let's take a look at the CPI data. Inflation curve isn't just dipping, it's nosediving. Core at 2.8%, overall 2.4%. Trump's economic scorched earth strategy is working. Recession dodged, stability restored, the Fed irrelevant, and the people are winning. Look at these numbers. Look at core inflation down overall 2.4%. The March CPI report shows unexpectedly large slowdown in inflation. Finally, inflation getting under control. Energy prices collapsed in March. Gas down 6.3%. Walmart slashing prices, rollbacks everywhere. Why? Because Trump's energy surge is already driving competition and cutting costs, and he's just getting warmed up. America is roaring again. Look at this. U.S. consumer prices unexpectedly fall in March. Look at that, baby. And, of course, they mocked him. Then he sent Meghan McCain a handwritten message. Did you hear about this? Right after Christmas, he thanked her. They said that he nearly died. Tulsi said he nearly died. Assassination attempt, and now he's seeing life through a new lens. Trump 2.0 isn't just stronger, he's unstoppable. Listen.
And he was totally right. Right after Christmas, Ben got a text message from somebody in the White House, and it was like, the president has a message for Meghan. And I was like, what's the message? And he wrote me a really lovely letter, signed a tweet with like a really nice note on it. It was a tweet I said about the Panama Canal, that I thought his stance on the Panama Canal was really important, and I do think we should take it back. And he was totally right. And he signed it and said, like, thank you, Meghan. I don't remember exactly what he said. Like, thank you, Meghan. Thank you for your support. Good luck from President Trump or something like that. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. I remember being like, wow, that feels like kind of a little bit of a peace offering. We had like messages sent through channels that were very positive from the president to me. Yeah. And I was like, this is like wild. And then I asked Tulsi, and she was like, he almost died. Like, he's almost assassinated. He almost died. He had his like ear blown off, or, whatever. And not just her, but many people around him have told me that like he has a different worldview right now.
A different worldview. I think an assassination attempt would certainly do that. And here we have the charts that don't lie. Core inflation crawling back to the Fed's 2% target. It took 3 years of pain, sabotage, and reckless spending to get here. That's right. Trump needed just weeks. He didn't raise rates. He raised standards. Real leadership solves problems. Here's another look at the inflation path to Fed's 2% target. Clearly, you can see the Trump effect in real time. Steve Bannon, though, says what we're all thinking. Revoke every last Chinese student visa, 350,000 sleeper cells. Get them out. Trump is hesitant, but the threat is real. The CCP is here, and it's using academia as a cover-up. It's time for America to wake up. Let's listen to Bannon.
This, although I recommend and understand President Trump is not for this. President Trump is very much wants the American universities to educate foreign students and bring the best and brightest here. I fully understand that. His thinking on this is very sharp and very dug in. He's kind of immovable on this, although I recommend, given everything that's going on and the commitment that the Chinese students, not their fault, they have to make a commitment to the Chinese government and essentially to their intelligence services to do a monthly update where they're here as an exchange student. I think it's just better for this moment in time of what's going on with us vis-a-vis the Chinese government that we immediately revoke all 350,000, which I believe the number is. Does that number shock you? Revoke the student visas immediately, get them on a plane and get them out of here, and allow all American students to fill those billets immediately. The student billets a lot in some of the best universities in the country. So I strongly recommend we do that. We're going to have to go to other measures here besides just the tariffs, because the Chinese Communist Party is not going to bend the knee. As Carolyn Wren just said yesterday at ASEAN, they were telling people, don't go to the United States, do not go to the United States, do not engage in this process. Now they're actually saying, hey, next week we're showing up, so be there, don't be in Washington. I recommend.
Gretchen Whitmer slipped. She admitted that Trump was right. She said we need fair trade. Tariffs work. Oh, listen to this, but don't be fooled. Newsom Whitmer 2028 is the Trojan horse.
Ships. I understand the motivation behind the tariffs. And I can tell you, here's where President Trump and I do agree. We do need to make more stuff in America. More cars and ships. More steel and ships. We do need fair trade.
Yeah, you know what she's got on the agenda. American steel, American chips, even the wolves are howling his tune now. But don't be fooled. Buckle up. The 2028 Trojan horse is just showing up. Inflation is crashing. Trade is surging. Steve Moran of the Council of Economic Advisors spelled it. Trump's policies are slamming the globalists and lifting America. Lowest core inflation since 2021. America is back, and it is red hot.
go to the rest of the world. The president has been pretty clear that what he wants is for other countries to remove their non-tariff barriers and their tariffs that prevent American exports from being as competitive. And so what I think we want is a situation in which American exports can go to the rest of the world, and we can trade more with the rest of the world. And it'll be great for lowering the trade deficit. It'll be great for the American economy. It'll be great for American workers, and that's what we want. But you mentioned the bond market, and I think it's also important to understand that the bond market should be further, further happy that the inflation data came in so positively today. I mean, so tepidly today. The core inflation print, which is inflation, stripping out volatile things like food and energy, that core inflation print on an annual basis was the lowest core inflation print since March of 2021. So President Trump's policies are working at keeping inflation at bay, keeping inflation down, and between that and what's going on with trade, America's back.
America's back, baby. And Brooke Rollins is in schools fighting chronic disease with better food, and Trump's blueprint, nutrition, health, and education finally working together. This is what leadership looks like: real reform, real results, and real America first with RFK Jr.
What a joy to be here at the Ferdinand T. Day School. We've met with their leaders. We've met with the incredible people who are running their school nutrition program.
It's the first time that HHS has actively collaborated with USDA to change the quality of nutrition to America's school children.
I'm all in on this MAHA part of the movement.
40% of our school-age kids have at least one chronic health condition.
$4.1 trillion is spent on health care. And of that, 90% are for people with chronic diseases.
38% of our children are diabetic or pre-diabetic. That was unknown when I was a kid.
Our farmers, ranchers, and producers dedicate their lives to growing the safest, most abundant food supply in the world.
And President Trump, he's asked us to end the chronic disease epidemic.
It's the first of many stops for Secretary Kennedy and myself over the next 4 years as we work to make America healthy again.
Oh, man. I get choked up, man. When I see RFK in the administration, I'm so happy that he's there, making America healthy again. We got this from Caroline Levitt saying it plain: inflation down, jobs up, Trump destroying Biden's failures one regulation at a time. From healthcare to groceries, costs are crashing. The golden age of America is here, and you are living it. Here's what she posted. Inflation is down. Jobs are up. Golden age of America is underway. President Trump continues to undo the damage done by Joe Biden. Core inflation declined for the second month in a row. Great news for American families and businesses. President Trump's aggressive economic agenda is already dropping prices across the board, from prescription drugs to car insurance. Every day, the Trump administration is cutting regulations and taking action to deliver on the president's commitment to quickly lower costs for all Americans. Here is the headline she posted with that. Inflation fell last month as gas prices dropped sharply, a sign prices are cooling before tariffs. The war for America's soul is here. They unleashed hell to stop Trump and failed bigly. Inflation crushed, borders locked, enemies terrified. The golden age has begun, so stay awake, stay armed, stay free, and follow the Next News Network for uncensored truth that they fear. So, folks, the globalist machine thought Trump was finished after January 6th. They laughed when he announced his candidacy. They unleashed every weapon in their arsenal: lawfare, propaganda, and even assassination attempts. But here we are, 81 days into Trump 2.0, and the results speak for themselves. Core inflation crawling back to 2%. Energy prices collapsed in March. Walmart slashing prices across the board. It's not just policy, it's a revolution in American prosperity. The deep state, the global elite, the unelected bureaucrats who thought they ran this country, well, they're all watching their power evaporate in real time. And as we head into summer, one question remains. Is Trump's economic renaissance just the beginning, or will the globalists strike back with even more desperate measures? Drop your thoughts below and grab your Next News gear in the merch store and show your support for real news. It's linked below.